I can't promise that there will not be a baby in this episode.
I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah,
What?
I'm off my game because 4 months, that whole 4 month thing is really hitting him hard.
Mm.
Yeah. The other morning when we were supposed to record, the reason why
Mm-hmm.
it's a weird morning is because at 2:30 in the morning when he woke up to eat for a couple minutes like usual, he then projectile vomited 3 times.
Oh God. That's
And scared, well, and it scared me at first. I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And then I was like, oh, he's fine. He's talking and smiling and laughing. But then I had to like, deal with everything. And then every time he made a noise, I was scared that he was choking. So I didn't get great sleep. And then every night since he's like not been great sleeping for me.
sorry.
It's all good. It's just part of the journey.
Oh yeah. The joys of motherhood.
Joys of motherhood. I'm
Uh,
staring at the pantry items right now, like I want to eat all of you. Ooh.
Oh, well, how has your week been? What's the latest?
Week's been pretty good. So something interesting
Mm-hmm.
through therapy and meditation that I've come to is really trying to figure out how to listen to my intuition and body. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like, I've talked about this before, I've quite good intuition or gut instinct or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, I don't know how to tap into it when I want to, if that makes sense.
Interesting. So it like comes when you're not asking for it in a way, but
Yeah,
then when
about
you
like
actually,
about the most like random things. It's not always, I don't,
mm-hmm.
so, I've had lots of relationship issues over the past year. And
Okay.
like when I'm like, okay, what's my intuition saying? It's all over the place because like my head's saying 5 million things, my heart's saying 5 million things, my gut's saying all these different things. And then I've come to realize a little bit through therapy, but mostly probably on my own. But that's what therapy is for anyway, is for you to figure stuff out on your own, just guided. Um, is there is so much noise, even well-intentioned noise out there that messes with my gut instinct. Like I follow so many things about, positivity or mindset or relationships and hi, all these things. And I have friends talking to me or family members and what I think, I should do, which is usually like my pride getting in the way of like the shoulds.
Mm-hmm.
And then so as I'm trying to do this and one thing we talked about in therapy, he gave me this like pack of mindfulness cards 2 weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
there. He's like, I picked these up at Target randomly. I don't even know why. Here, let's use them today. This is my first time opening them. And he's like, out of these 4 categories, I forget all four, but one of them was kindness. He's like, what do you want to look at? I was like, kindness, sure. So he pulls out 2 cards. The first one was saying thank you to yourself. Because, I have a really good gratitude practice that I practice pretty much every day now. Because lately, sometimes I'm just too tired to remember to be like adamant, like scheduled about it. He said, but do you ever thank yourself? I was like, not enough. Like, you're right. He's like, let's work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you're a great person, you're dynamic, this, that, the other. Like, you should be thanking yourself. That can go a long way. And then the second thing was about like tuning into your body and listening to your body, like your gut. So I worked on that. And in typical Jessica fashion, I was like, how? I don't even know. I don't even know how to listen to my own gut on like some big things anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
so during a meditation, or maybe when I was just laying down, I was like, okay, I've been meditating, like that's going well. The anxiety is definitely lessening. I've even noticed in the past week, there are some days where I think it's not even there, like it's not even happening at all, which is amazing after it becoming such a thing. Um, and so I like laid down. I was like, okay, think about this, think about the situation. Think about it in one way. How does that feel in your body? Think about it in another way. How does that feel in your body? I was like, oh, but before I even got to that, I was like, I don't even know how to do this. And so, of course, I Googled it, like how to listen to your gut instinct. because I need instructions and very clear way of doing things.
Is what I feel that's not even something that is Googleable because every person.
Everything's Googleable, but like, I just like went, like I read a couple of blogs. I was like, okay, like this is the underlying theme that feels like something I can like, now it's tangible to me.
Okay.
So like I laid down, like, I thought about things and how different things made me feel. I was like, oh, and then I started noticing like when I'm looking at Instagram or Facebook and while I'm nursing him and all these things that I follow, it's like all these things are saying so many things. I'm like, these are all super well intentioned, but it's really muddling my instinct. Like I need to not take in all this information because it's just messing with my head and what I
Like
think
what?
and feel. Just like if it's relationship advice, like this, if this is how things are being done or happening, like then it's not the thing for you. Or if this is how you should be treated, or this whatever. And I'm like, yeah, this is all great and true. But when you get so much of that constantly, like that becomes like, this is what it has to be, or else forget about it. And that really messes with my own instinct and my own thoughts and feelings.
Now I see what you're saying now, and I fully agree. That's why I feel like romantic comedies or romantic movies in general are so harmful because it shows
Oh, yeah.
you like,
That's a whole other side of it too that I was thinking.
yeah, like when you're looking at all these things of like, this is how a man should treat you. And I know like I've fallen victim to that as well. And I've been like, oh, well, he obviously isn't a man enough. Like a lot of times when there's a lot of like very, feminist statements about what a man should do and how a man should help. And sometimes I'll find myself getting upset, like, oh, yeah, why isn't he helping me more with that? And then and I'm like, oh, because I love to do that. So here I am getting mad at him because he's not helping when it's like, do I even want his help in that? So I totally get what you're saying now.
Yeah, like even sometime in the past month with my therapist, we were talking about it. He was like, well, I mean, because he's very good at just like playing devil's advocate. It's like, well, do you want the guy who sends the gushy romantic text constantly, or do you want the guy that fixes the water heater? And not saying that they can't be the same person, but like, which would you rather if it's not the same person? And I was like, I thought I wanted the gushy romantic stuff, but really I want the practical because that's life. And that's where like the Disney movies and the rom-coms, which I thought I could just watch and not let affect me, obviously have affected me because I'm like, oh, but that would be so nice. Or, the people that gush over Facebook posts about their significant other that 75% of the time I'll be lenient, are usually reason like it's actually not a great relationship, but they're just like acting like it is. And it's like, no, I don't need to let any of that get into my head. And I just need to tap into like what I actually care about and want.
Yeah. Yeah. I fall victim to that a ton, especially because Jay is not a romantic at all. And in the beginning, I put a lot of pressure on him to be romantic. And then finally, like he actually, I think I still wrestled with it for a long time until he brought up, he's like, think about all the romantic men out there. What are they like? The singers, the songwriters, the poets. They are very intimate people with a lot of people. Like they don't just that way with you. So like if they are romantic, not all men, there's like, there are romantic and loyal men out there, but a lot of men who are like have that romance, they're either schmoozing or they're finding that intimacy with women at work as well. Like you just, not everything is perfect. And yeah, at the end of the day, like I had to accept, I would rather have a non-romantic, amazing father who really helps me around the house and tells me constantly how well I'm doing, even if it's not with roses or sweet little love notes or kisses in the morning. Like he's grumpy in the morning. I don't talk to him until he's like woken up. But I love him. I wouldn't want it any other way. So yeah, it's interesting to look at like what the US media paints as ideal versus what actually is ideal. So
and that's where like it was the two different facets, because there's that growing up and just all surrounding is the romantic idea, And then there's, like I said, these accounts that I follow, and therefore more stuff gets shown to me of like, it's mental health and emotional health stuff that I follow. And it's all valid and true, but constantly reading so much of it messes with my internal instinct of what I actually feel and think. As much as it's true, what they're saying can be true, and what I think and feel can also be true.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah. Have you seen those posts where it's like a woman can't have five, and it's like a list of
We've
like
talked
all
about that before on here because I love that. It's like a modern woman. It's like, clean house, great in shape body, loving husband, perfect, like gorgeous kids, great career, all this stuff. And it's like, pick three.
Yeah. I've seen those a lot lately where it's like you just can't, like it's instead of saying pick, it just says you can't have. And it, like when I first read that, I was offended. Like, what do you mean? And I think I saw was 4. I was like, I bet I could have all 4. And I'm like reading through 1, 2, no. I could possibly, like, once I blah, then I'll have the clean house and then I'll have all 4. And it's like, it's yes, but then you'll have the clean house, but you won't have one of the, like it all is a give and take in every season. And I think when we can accept
those things look like to you, like in a sense, you can have all the things that it is that you want on that list, but it's not going to look the same as like, the idealized commercial version of it.
Yeah. And just like, what made me think of that is like this perfect man, right? He's romantic and he's handy and he says all the right things at the right time. Like, that's not real. That doesn't exist. Maybe in the movies, but even then they're a little flawed. But in real life, they're very flawed because we're all humans. We're all really flawed. And so we have to just accept that like whoever we end up with is going to have their flaws and their strengths. And we have to be grateful for their strengths. And if those strengths aren't the strengths we're looking for, then we can move on. But we cannot expect a flawless person.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that made me laugh the most in therapy yesterday is I was telling him, I sat down and I like thought about Jed and I, and like, okay, well, if it looks this way, how it's continuing, like, how does that make me feel? If it would look this way, like the quote unquote ideal way, like, how would that make me feel? And he was like, so we went with the biggest decision in your life. Like, we didn't want to choose a small decision or something to try to test out figuring out our gut instinct. We just went really big. I was like, well, that's me. I was like, I don't feel like I have other decisions to make. Like, nothing's small to me. Or maybe I just make small decisions quickly and easily. I don't even know. But I was like, yeah, why not go for that? Of course. So, but that's what I've been doing. But along with that, still meditating and like that overwhelming, anxious, like heart beating feeling has definitely gone down.
Can I just say, I love your therapist. He sounds fantastic.
I love him too. He's awesome.
I wanted to
like super down to earth, very relatable. It's just having like good conversations. I like to think that I'm like a good therapy client because I want to have these conversations and like go deep. And I'm totally okay. Like, obviously, you're not like, you can't be wrong in therapy, but like, I'm totally okay with being incorrect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just have really cool conversations, basically.
That's awesome. Well, I would love if we could keep this one short because it's Christmas and there's lots of Christmassy things to get to.
There you go.
But before we go, I have a question for you because I know you've been doing the meditation app Headspace, and I just downloaded one because I'm tired of doing them on YouTube, but I can't seem to find long ones. Have you found long ones?
I haven't gone past 15, 20 minutes yet, so I haven't looked for it.
I can't even find like a 20-minute one.
In that app, the same app?
Yeah, in Headspace.
Like I've just been doing like the basics that show up, and like as it goes further, like you can select like 5, 10, or 20 minutes.
Okay, so in the beginning it starts small and then it grows as you grow.
Yeah, but like you can go search like just on, they have so many topics. You can search any topic and like, it'll probably be longer.
Okay. I'll give that a shot. I was looking at them, but they all would say like 5 minutes. I'm like, I want more, but maybe if I click on
Well, I
it,
think
it'll
a
pop
lot
up
of
more.
them show, if you don't open it, it says 5 to blank minutes, meaning you can
Mm-mm.
choose an option.
Okay. Okay. I'll try. I'll take another look. I downloaded both Calm and Headspace to kind of see which one I like.
Yeah, the one thing I like had, like I did that too, and immediately I just didn't like Calm because I'd already been doing Headspace. The one thing
Mhm.
is Headspace, from what I can tell, is mostly just like they give you a tiny blurb, like almost like an intention kind of thing at the beginning that relates on whatever topic it says, but then it's really just the same meditation every
Hmm.
time. Um, which it just gives you more space. Like the longer it is, it gives you kind of more space to just meditate versus like talking. I think that
Mhm.
I just didn't like I like the voices on Headspace better.
That's funny. I haven't
Mom,
actually,
I think, had more talking, which is funny because I thought I wanted that, but obviously I didn't.
I couldn't, I was having a hard time with the interface on Headspace, so I downloaded Calm to give it a
Uh,
shot, but
I also don't
we
like that
shall.
when you open Calm, it like you couldn't get rid of the background noise as you're browsing it.
And I heard about the background noise and I couldn't hear it.
How funny.
I was excited for the background noise. I'm like, where is it?
I know it distracted me. That's funny.
That's hilarious. Well, anyway, do you want to close her out?
Well, yeah, so I think this was a perfect for Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Because what day is this one airing?
Next Thursday.
Okay, so like a few days before Christmas. Well, it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect because really we talked a lot about relationships, and there's so many relationships that people come across around the holidays and Christmas, whether you're seeing people or not, even if you're like spending it alone, thinking about whatever people in your life. So, like, don't have the expectations. I think we talked about expectations last week. Like, don't have commercial expectations. Don't let other things get into your head about what like the perfect Christmas looks like, or the ideal Christmas or holiday season or whatever that is. Like, whatever you're doing, just be okay with it. Even if it's not what you want to be doing this year. I've had years like that plenty of times, especially with having a child that I have only every other Christmas. Like, I had to accept it's not always how I want it to look, and that's okay. And maybe, if you have some time by yourself, or if you know you're about to go into a crazy situation, take 5 minutes to just sit with your body and think about how it is that you would like things to go, and see how that makes you feel, and go forward with that.
Yeah, I love it. I agree. Do you want to do the like rate, review, subscribe
You can do
thing?
it and close it out.
Okay. Um, well, I don't know how to go into it from there. Um, yeah, I don't know why I'm at a loss. Well, thanks for listening and for coming to us. I feel like these little, I feel like with the new format we're doing, it feels like mini therapy sessions. So thanks for joining us in these therapy group chats that we are having with you and each other. We really love having you here. We would love if you continue to come back, and a great way to do that is by subscribing. Then you'll get notified every time we have an episode that is released. And then if you could also share us with your friends and family, that'll help our podcast to grow. You can rate or review or subscribe. All of that helps us to grow and go further. So until next week, if you until next week, I hope you have a fantastic holiday, however you're celebrating. Just like Jess said, no matter what's coming your way, trust the process, trust the season, feel free to step away. And if you are scrolling through Instagram and feeling like all of these posts are so close to the target, but really missing the mark, you are so not alone. Bye. Happy holidays.